sorry. It's just not quite enough wonder. She's lovelier still. Fairest, more drooling, gentlemen. Elegant and loquacious drooling is required. Gentlemanly, of course, nothing sordid about it, but nonetheless, again, but fairer still. Better, yes. Maybe it's her. Carry on. Gap of this and R-vowel. Good. Well done, gents. It's a really unbelievably crazy thing to even attempt to have done. You might have seen in the last mail, I also mentioned that hopefully next week we have a guest tutor lined up, which is something that I used to do with Garrett Lash quite a lot. And we stopped doing mainly just we've got so busy cramming learning of new material in, and our schedules have got so busy that it's been very difficult to find a spare week to lend any spare time to just pure technique stuff. But basically, choir leading and vocal technique specialist is not usually the same trade any more than singing teacher is another thing again, in a way. And I know I do quite a lot of vocal technique stuff with you, as any decent choir leader does, but also all the very best ones I've ever known tend to basically get in other specialists occasionally, just to kind of directly work on this. And that's the plan for next week. The first hour of next week is a local singing teacher and very much vocal technique, a sort of specialist, Frith Treservant, who I've had some lessons from myself at times, is going to come in and take the first hour of the rehearsal, and or at least I hope she is. So we're sending back quite frequent emails, and then I said, well, what I'd really like you to work on is this. And I sent them the manuscript and an MP3, and that was Friday, and I haven't heard another word. so whenever it was, yeah, no, it must have been earlier. It must have been like Wednesday last, whenever it was. But but as far as I know, we're still on. And all this is at no expense to you gents whatsoever. It's just something we include in the subs, and it's something I'd like to do with Garrett Lash again much more. Singing teachers are strange creatures, because, especially with singing, you can't really see what's going on in there. It's all kind of quite internal. So some people say things like, you need to imagine a flock of white birds bursting out of your forehead. And others say things like, yes, you need to slightly lower your pharynx. I didn't even know I had a pharynx, but we all do apparently. And they all vehemently disagree with each other about absolutely everything. They're kind of horrible, nasty little creatures, basically. But yeah, she thinks the same. Yeah. No, I don't mean that. I mean the thing is, one of the reasons why it's good to get in vocal technique specialists, and they all know way more about this stuff than I do. I'm a choir leader, and I'm not a vocal technique specialist. And because every now and then one of them says something for a certain percentage of the choir will change their lives, singing lives forever, with one stupid little sentence or way of thinking about something. but other people will completely not touch them or change. Singing is weird like that. It's really, really odd. So exposing you to these influences is, I consider, sort of part of my job. So this is really, really exciting. Plus, it'll be nice to have an hour to indulge on this tune, because it's getting to the stage where I've kind of said all the stuff I can say to you about vowel colour and the what sits, and how to add a bit of breath and go through and singing over the break. And so there we are. So it'll be really exciting. She's certainly a very, very good singing teacher. I've never seen her work with a whole group. It is something she does, and so that'll be very exciting. I was too jealous at the time to give her the entire rehearsal, so I said, you can have the first hour, and the second half we'll just use for crashing through all the new Christmas repertoire, because we've only got, this is the 4th rehearsal of this term, believe it or not, I think. So there's only 2 more to go, and then we're basically into, in fact, so that 3 weeks, no, 4 weeks today, we'll be doing our first of our Christmas concert. Or is it 3 weeks today? It'll be 3 weeks today. Yeah,
5 weeks today.
Yeah, so it'll be 3 weeks today. We'll be in Colston Hall doing Lord Mayor's carols for those who are there. So that's 3 weeks today. We'll be right in there. So there we go. All right. So that's very exciting. So I forgot to do this here last week. So actually, I proposed to do nothing more. And as we're going to work on it in detail, let's just sing through it again. And we're going to basically spend today singing through stuff. Sorry? Yeah, we're doing this on Sunday, definitely. Sunday, we're doing everything. The thing about Sunday, I'll tell you about that when we get to the break, but basically they want us.
As I said last week, can you get the first tenor to sing that all 3 high?
Oh, there's no way for them to neatly get out again. Right, let's try that. Fair enough, Jeremy. But there's no way for them to get off and get back to their own part very easily. Unless... All right. First tenors, there's a request for assistant from the second tenors. That famous intro, that thing they have, the entry at the bottom of page 3, the last bar. Yeah, the D sharp to G sharp. So second tenor, sing us for it. Go second tenors, just second tenors, 2, 3. Right, okay, now, do you see that? Are you ready? Following it again, do it again, second tenor so they can follow. 2, 3. Yes, exactly. Now, as though your life wasn't complicated enough already, first tenors, that's it. The last note that they sing is the same E. You see what I mean? So you could exactly do that. So let's give that a try, shall we? 2, 3. Good Lord, there we are. It's just like being whisked back to a 10th century monastery all of a sudden. Fantastic.
There's also the other 2 parts coming in between, which is kind of how I count it in. That's how I count it in.
Yeah, sure. Well,
one,
look,
2, 3, and with the 4th one to
like I say, look, it's not a problem. This is not a big, scary, important gig or anything. It's just part of the North Bristol Arts Trail. Don't worry about it. Sing the whole thing top to bottom. Attempt to assist the second tenors on those bars if you would, first tenors. Right, so yeah, let's have a stand, shall we? And try and keep that tempo down. I need to pause here. There was moments of excellence there, gents. There really was. Please do sit. Something I hope we get from Chris will be on supporting that very top end of the falsetto. Personally, I found when I was singing up there, the some notes come out really, really well. Some syllables, in particularly. And then a syllable seems really close and just won't, and won't, and won't, and won't. And it's quite often the vowel, I think, which affects that, and quite often it's just even just a tiny difference in pitch, a very small difference in pitch. Having a larger section really, really helps. When there's 5 of them, it's different. When there's 5 or 6, it always sounds pretty damn good. As soon as it's down to any sort of just 2 of you, it's less amazing. Nearly as amazing, I was going to say. And all of you do better than I do. It's great. And I think the section that has most of all is second hands on this because it's so around the break and all the close, which I have exactly the same difficulties. But again, it's improving hugely. And likewise, the subtlety of the work for the sections which stay entirely in chest voice and therefore could easily sound quite brutish and flatten all this and fail to blend. But it's just being very, very, very subtle work flowers. Let's just look at that vowel before we move on. All other, Barry, do it for me. All other flowers. I think just R, just like all other flowers we cast aside. I can't think any elegant way of going flowers, flowers, down. So basically flowers. We'll see what Frith has, if she has any idea. But all other flowers. So watch slow motion replay. Flowers. Where's at the end? But so very short. Flowers we cast aside, and the whole words is basically a zillion, infinitely small. So do that phrase. All of the flowers we cast aside, and gaze with joy, inspired pride. And again, all of us spy, pride, in pride, whatever it is. That sounded great. Just do it again. I want to hear you finish it now. All other and all of the flowers we cast aside, and gaze with joy in inspired pride. Then rapture It's really, really hard. It's mentally exhausting, this kind of stuff, because any ripple, just a ripple is a wave in the context of this, isn't it? And that massive unanimity of a section, that whole and anonymous quality as well, where no individual voices are standing out. It's so hard to achieve, and it really is. We're making massive progress as a choir on this tune that will stay with us on everything else we ever sing. It won't, it's not just a one-tune benefit. It's a global, major levelling of raising a standard on something that's really hard. Right, getting near the break. I think we've got time to arise shepherds before we get to the break. Let's do something brutal, psychotic, medieval.